song? Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. And I wonder if you do.
That's like the whole song. Okay. I'll just be looking at the. Okay, all right. I only hear it on the.
Mine sounds a lot closer than whatever you're doing. Then,
Come on, bro. If you go to Siri, it's like, you. It'll pull it up. If you say, and it's like, are you trying to be Whitney Houston?
No. We couldn't settle this right now.
Please stop. What are we talking about?
I don't know that song. What's the dance that goes to it?
The song. They go like, like, I sent it to you.
This? Oh, so now we're singing different songs.
Exactly. What's up? I'm Z.
Actually, I'm Z.
I was Z first.
It really doesn't matter. I'm the better Z. And we're here to spill some tea. And if you don't want to hear our tea, then deuces.
Deuces, the name of the show. Let's get into the tea.
You know what we're talking about today?
I have no idea.
I know you don't. I had no idea until 1 hour ago. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind?
Yeah.
I just took 500 perks before I went on this space flight. Because that's the vibe she was giving me. Like she was on something. We're going to talk about the Blue Origin.
Perks isn't okay.
Yeah.
I think that's how she always. I think that's how she always is, though.
The Blue Origin space flight, the all-women flight crew. Gayle King pissing me off too right now, to be honest. We'll get there. Have you heard of, seen any, besides what I sent you about Katy Perry being the devil? Do you know she's a PK? It's very embarrassing.
She started out doing Christian. I looked something up, and she started out doing Christian music, and she was all like, "Oh, I just wanted to like spread the love of Jesus," and it was crazy. And then it was like, I sold my soul to the devil.
And then she was killing nuns.
No, so she went to a clip where she said she sold her soul to the devil, but I didn't know that. Like she was like, "Is you have her legit like in church?" Katy Perry singing.
You didn't know she was a PK?
I had no idea. Why would I know that from her music?
With I knew that from when she first came out.
It's like she's butt naked in a cloud. Why do I think she's a PK?
Before that, though, her music wasn't. It was like real teeny bopper-ish.
It still is.
I know, but so the Blue Origin space flight. So just a little background. Blue Origin was founded by Jeff Bezos in 2000. He developed the new Shepard rocket for
Shepard.
Yeah.
Relax, bro. Relax.
Right.
Change that.
For suborbital space tourism and research missions, allegedly. The first crew flew on July 20th, 2021. Blue Origin launched in its inaugural crewed mission NS-16, carrying Jeff Bezos and 3 others to space.
Was that Shatner?
The flight, Alan Shepard it's the route that they're doing. So Alan Shepard is a astronaut, I think. I don't know.
Yes, Alan Shepard is an astronaut.
The flight lasted approximately 10 minutes and reached an altitude of 107 kilometers. So the NS-31 mission, which was recently on April 14th, this flight featured an all-female flight crew, including Katy Perry, Gayle King, Lauren Sanchez.
What's got to do with your sentence?
Aisha, you see how he helped me say it right? Aisha Bowie, Amanda Nguyen and Carrie Ann Flynn.
I'm pretty sure that's Win.
Nguyen? Nguyn?
Win.
No.
Win.
Remember that restaurant we used to have?
Win. Andy Win. That's how you pronounce that.
Do you know the restaurant I'm talking about?
Yeah, Andy Win. That's what it was called. That's how you say that.
Is that what it was called? Where was that at?
Whenever you see NG, that's how you spell that. Win. I was in the military with a lot of wins.
I know.
A lot of wins.
I'm not.
That's how you say it. That's why when you said it, I was all like, win. Because I recognize.
Do you remember the restaurant I'm talking about?
Yes, Andy Win downtown, right? The vegan.
I think that's where vegan
mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways. And Carrie Ann Flynn. I already said that. The mission lasted 10 minutes and 21 seconds, reaching an altitude of 105 kilometers and offering passengers.
So they got an extra 21 seconds?
Yeah. And offering passengers a brief experience of weightlessness and views from space. So it says that the mission objectives were for space tourism.
The objectives were optics to try to make it seem like we're doing some kind of woman empowerment.
Right.
Like,
it's ridiculous. Providing paying customers with a brief experience of space, including weightlessness and panoramic views of Earth. Scientific research, carrying payloads for NASA, academic institutions, and commercial entities to conduct experiments in microgravity, and educational outreach. What qualifies Bezos? Anyway.
Well, no, if it's in space, yeah, for sure. Oops. But what students are you taking up there to learn?
Because who's paying $300,000 to do that?
That's what I'm saying.
Secretary Sean Duffy noted that under FAA guidelines, the participants did not qualify as astronauts due to the lack of active contributions to flight safety or human spaceflight efforts, or maybe just
everything that has to do with being an astronaut.
Like what?
You don't have to explain, bro. Yeah, they're not astronauts, guys.
So
they're not flying any missions. They're just going up, floating around, taking freaking selfies in space,
showing their set list for their tour they're about to go on, because that's what Katy Perry did. It's very much just a really big marketing
oh my god
situation. Two of the women so Aisha is an aerospace engineer and founder of STEM Board. She's a passionate advocate for STEM education and has mentored aspiring engineers. And Amanda Nguyen is a bioastronautics research scientist and advocate for sexual violence survivors. Nguyen has worked with NASA and was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for her advocacy work. Those are the only two
already been in space, probably
women who actually, I feel like maybe.
Did they advertise any of their stuff? That would have seemed more, you know.
Lauren Sanchez is Jeff Bezos' fiance. Apparently, she's a journalist and a licensed pilot.
She flew the blue.
She's the founder of the Black Ops Aviation.
If she's a pilot, she flew the Blue Ivy.
That part I don't know. And then we know who Gayle King is, and we know who Katy Perry is. Oh, and Carrie Ann Flynn is a film producer.
Well, film producers can do what they want. So
that's biased. So they go on this flight. And there's tons of backlash. The majority of the world is like, this is really tone deaf right now because you just paid a bunch of money to go on you're not, what are you doing? Like, what is the reason? What is the reason? In my Cardi B voice. Like, what's the point? Like, why are you, what is this?
I was talking about this with my wife, and I was like, I mean, it's not a problem. Like, you know, you work hard for your money and then you can do what you want with your money. The thing I don't understand is the publicity behind it. Like it's something monumental. And it's like, what are we doing? They're saying, oh, it's all women, but they're trying to push it as if it's like an all women manned flight that's like going and doing like research, like actual astronauts. And it's just women who bought tickets on a tour ride, like literally, and I'm like, what? And like, well, Gayle King is gonna be, and I'm like, what? So optics is all like, okay, so Gayle King, black woman, so maybe a little black girl can be all like, oh yeah, I can go in space by just being successful and then paying for it, maybe, you know what I'm talking about,
right?
Okay, but that's really the only optics that there is. And I think the reason why there's backlash is because
they're trying to call themselves astronauts.
All this publicity behind it. You see them up there doing like, tour dates, and it's all like, oh,
she had a little
Katy
daisy
and stuff like that.
I want to know what she was on. She was on something.
She was on Katy. Come on. I feel like that's just Katy Perry being Katy Perry. But it's like, who's behind this? We're talking about plants, people who are plants, and it's all like, who are you trying to pacify right now?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so obvious. That's why there's backlash. Like, it's because you're trying to call me stupid. Like, we can see exactly what this is. Just call it what it is. Like, when William Shatner went up, it was all like, oh, it was cool. It was William Shatner. He's like 80, however old he was.
And
when he went up to
known
space.
for.
And it's, Captain Kirk. But it's like, but they weren't like, oh, this monumental. Well, it was kind of like, it's new. People were going up to space. But it wasn't pushed like, this is history. You should know this. It was just all like, hey,
they don't need to be on our history
like, hey,
books
in
as
news,
trailblazers.
William Shatner went to space. Yeah, that's cool. And then they like talked about other stuff, and it was like, okay, but this is like, oh, all women went to space.
All women breaking the flight barrier.
Space.
Not
talk
even
about,
really.
Talk about breaking the glass ceiling.
They just go through the boundary that was separating Earth's atmosphere and space is really all they did. So then they're getting all this backlash because I guess they were expecting the whole world to be like, oh my
You're
gosh.
so brave. And the screaming when they came back down was hilarious.
And they weren't. And so Gayle's all mad about that.
Oh my gosh. What do you mean mad?
I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh,
I would stop it right there. We're done.
We actually duplicated the route that Shepard did. That's why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New Shepard.
Oh my gosh.
We duplicated that route.
I can't.
There's more.
No one said he took that ride. Yeah. It's always referred to as a flight or a journey. So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was and what the work that Blue Origin
Told you, she's pissing me off.
We use space technology all the time, whether it's your GPS, whether it's your satellite. That doesn't just happen. Every time a flight goes up, they get some type of information. Two of the astronauts, I still have a hard time calling myself an astronaut, but two of the astronauts on board, one is a rocket scientist, one is an astrophysicist activist. We're actually doing experiments. But every time one of those goes up, you get some information that can be used for something else. So I wish people would do more due diligence. And then my question is, have y'all been to space? Have you been in space? Go to space.
No, because we broke.
And see what they do and how they do. And then come back and say, this is a terrible thing. I've had so many girls and women and some guys who are saying, whoa, I saw what you did. I'm thinking maybe I should reconsider. Maybe I could do this too. The young girls in particular. But it's not just the young girls. We're also encouraging, the boys look at it and see what women and young girls can do. Yeah. So I know there are cranky Yankees. I know there's some haters, but I'm not going to let people steal my joy and steal the joy of what we did or what we accomplished that day. I'm just not going to let it in.
Who you talking to?
And these are some of my friends that are just throwing shade. I don't like that.
Maybe if it's some of your friends, you should be like, if my friends are feeling
this way. Who's her publicist and why did they allow her
this was on Extra.
That's perfect because she was being extra. She was
But
being
I'm like,
extra.
First of all, you're not an astronaut.
You're not an astronaut. So you
Second
calling
of all,
yourself
you're going to say to the world, have you been to space, you little peons? Have you been to space, you little brokies? Like, are you serious, Gayle? You just made it worse.
Yo, you reminds me, I was watching Pitch Meeting and he was doing an episode for Mr. Beast. And it was all like, are we going to look at how this guy watched Squid Games and identified more with the people that were putting the people through the games than the people that were in the games? It was like, we're not going to talk about that. And I was all like, that's a good point. That's what this is. Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. But you calling yourself an astronaut.
I still have a hard time calling myself an astronaut.
It's like, dude, the definition of Blue Ivy, what's it called? It's not Blue Ivy. What's it called?
Blue Origin?
Yeah, whatever it's called. The definition of that thing is that you can pay to go to space. And it's
literally
you're touring space for like 10 minutes. Like, honestly, if you go to Disneyland and you go to what's the world? Future World, Space Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That that place before it was Star Wars, and it was like they had a place like that, and it was all like, this is what we want to do. Like Walt Disney was thinking about this a long time ago. So now it's finally coming to fruition, taking trips into space, and to call yourself an astronaut it's and to wild. Say, have you been to space? Like nobody is like nobody's taking talk to me when you've been to space. That you've been to space, but you're not breaking any barriers other than you're successful enough to afford to go to space.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like you're successful enough to afford to go to space, and you're a woman in America and you're Black in America. Yes, that is monumental. So yeah, somebody's looking and now like, well, if she can do it, I can get successful and pay to go to space. Yeah. But you're not an astronaut. You're not doing any routes. And even if they're collecting data from your route, that's not your mission. You're not on a mission. You went up there to take selfies.
You're not doing nothing but writing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's like, do you not understand that's what the backlash is about? Nobody is saying like, don't go to space and do what you want with your money, because I mean, what the heck?
But don't try to make it like women, like it really was all women astronauts going up there to do a mission.
Yeah, and then that whole like, well, when the man did it, it's like, first off, he was an astronaut. She was talking about Alan. It's called Alan Shepard because he wasn't. The reason why you can do this is because of what Alan Shepard did. Right. And it wasn't just Alan Shepard, okay? It was the whole team behind Alan Shepard. We've seen Hidden Figures, okay? You know what I'm talking about? So we know how it is. So it's just tone deaf to try to make it this narrative where, it's because we're women. What are you talking about? No, it's not. It's because you're trying to push this narrative that you're doing something more than you're doing. Like, you paid for a ticket to go to space.
Literally.
That's literally it. And the people that were I'm not even hearing anything about the people that were actually involved in aerospace and other stuff, because you're robbing the spotlight.
Right.
So it's like, bro, you're being more tone deaf to say, have you been to space? That's the reason why people are upset.
And she looked at the camera.
And you're doubling down on that. Have you been to space? That's the thing. You're like rubbing it in the face. Because this is what.
Hopefully Oprah was like, girl.
She was like, it seems like they're rubbing it in everybody's face. Like, we got money, we can go to space, and you can't. Right. I was all like, I can understand that. I mean, I don't necessarily think that, but I can definitely understand that. And it's because of the publicity surrounding it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, look over here. Don't worry about what's going on over here. Just look right here.
It's literally
just look right here. Don't worry about this stuff over here.
Publicity. Katy Perry also has a tour she's launching this month. Or launched this month. So she was like, I'm launching my tour. Let me go to space.
Let me show myself into space. So and I'm launching a tour.
Listen to what she had to say. She's so annoying. There's a couple.
We got to talk about the nun she killed.
You're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour. It's really incredible. Now I know I'm asking this question for your fans. Will you write a song about this experience? Oh, for sure, 100%. And not only that, I got to reveal my set list for the tour on a butterfly. How apropos. Incredible. Just flying in space. I don't know if anyone's ever in space. I don't know if anyone's ever done that before, so I'll just... There's a lot of things that you have done first. You are now officially an astronaut, and let me just tell you.
No, you're not.
What's the definition of astronaut? The definition of astronaut isn't just going to space. You can say you're officially a space explore. I don't even know if I would say they didn't explore space. You were up there for 10 minutes. 10 minutes in space hardly qualifies you. And here's the thing. The amount of training that actual astronauts do to be able to go to space.
An astronaut is a person who is trained to travel and work in space. The term typically refers to individuals who have been trained and certified by a space agency like NASA, ESA, that's the one in Europe, Roscosmos, ooh, Russia sounds cool, Roscosmos, or others to operate spacecraft, conduct scientific research, and perform tasks in environments beyond Earth's atmosphere.
Podcast co-host endorses Russia. That's what's gonna be attacked.
Roscosmos sounds cool. Leave me alone. So yeah, by definition, none of them are astronauts. So then they have their sit-down interview, and this is what
they can see the unity that we modeled and replicate that and understand that.
I just want to say, every time I listen to this clip, her voice, all of it just annoys me so bad. Katy Perry just screams Karen to me. Anyway.
That we weren't just taking up space, we were making space for the future. And for me, like Gayle said, this wasn't a ride, it wasn't a destination. It was a journey, and it was a supernatural one. And my journey has always been about love and belonging. And I think that we have all felt that sometimes we weren't worthy or we didn't belong in certain ways, no matter all the accolades, no matter all the studying, no matter anything. And I think today we all said, like, we belong here. This is where we belong, and we feel very sure of that. So I think that you'll never know the amount of love that you have inside of you to give and to receive until the day you launch. Because you're leaving all the love behind, and you're surrendering, and you're hoping that you get another chance to love them again. And so when you come back down, you're like, oh, I get another chance, and I'm going to do it. Oh my God, now I'm crying. Okay.
Who was the interviewer talking about? Now I'm crying.
Hey, this was Good Morning America. I don't know who it was, but I'm just like,
oh my gosh! No, this should be the lyrics for your song. It just touched me so much. Do you have my check ready? Like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, hold on! I wanted to play this Gayle King clip too, real quick.
Gayle King, you are officially an astronaut. How do you feel? I still can't accept that word, but I will say I can't even believe what I saw. When somebody calls this a ride, this was not a ride. What happened to us was not a ride. This was a bona fide freaking flight. And our instructor, we were so well prepared. So every noise we heard, we knew. But the flight instructor said that I am her best success story. Why? Because she's never had somebody go through the course who's terrified of flying. Everybody who's gone through the course is somebody that it's been a lifelong dream. They wanted to do it. So she said, I'm her best success story. I'm so proud of me right now. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
Cute.
Wow.
Everyone she's trained, it's been a lifelong dream. It's been something they actually wanted to do, but I'm scared of flying and I paid to do it, and I'm her best success story.
It's like, are you not listening to yourself? It's just like the optics. I'm not trying to say that you should like change for other people or nothing like that, but legit, the optics behind it, like, how is this going to sound? A lifelong dream versus I've just done it. And here's the thing, if you're leaning into what it actually is, yeah, it is a ride. You did pay for it. But to say this is a journey, and then the footage is y'all showing tour dates and taking selfies, and it's like you're not even like looking at space. You're like just having fun. So like, don't try to call it a journey and call it like you're actually on a mission in space exploration when you're up there having fun the same way you would if you were on a ride, because that's what it was. It was a
Somebody
ride.
said, girl, you took an Uber to space.
Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
And it's all like, stop acting like that.
It's like, it's not that you did it. It's how you're trying to act about doing it. If you're going to be bougie, you're going to do something, then just enjoy your little ride and do that. But don't try to make it like some monumental thing that we need to put in the history books, that we need to stop playing, because that's not what it was. It was, you guys paid money. It's a marketing opportunity. I'm a marketer. I get it. If I had enough money to market that much, I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Whatever.
You're marketing. I'll take a ride to space.
But like, say what it is. You have enough money to go to travel to space, so you did it. Cool. And you just broke the barrier and was only up there for 10 minutes. Don't act like you was like our homies who was actually just stuck in space. Okay? Who actually needed to kiss the ground when they came home because they wasn't sure if they was coming home. You know what I mean? So like, stop playing with it. If you going, I don't have a problem that y'all did it. I have a problem. I agree. I have a problem that y'all trying to hype it up like this is so monumental. This is so. Meanwhile, the first Black woman in space in 1992, who's very much still alive and doing interviews. Like, how about we highlight her? Because she was actually up there working. She is an astronaut. You know what I mean? Like, stop playing. That's how I feel about it.
And the barriers of like racism and stuff that she had to like overcome. And and like actual like sexism. Like, I feel like at this point, what you've proven is that your wealth and your money and your influence supersedes the sexism and racism that you would count. And as a supersede, I'm sure people are still going to be like sexist and racist towards you. However, it succeeded enough for you to be able to experience this thing that everybody else within your tax bracket is experiencing. You know what I mean? And it's just like, if you look at these optics, man, you're orbiting above everybody else. And now you're coming down here and you're still orbiting above everybody else with all of your comments and all your stuff. And it's like, who is your person? Who is marketing you? Like, hey, listen, don't call yourself an astronaut. This is what it is. Just say you were successful enough to be able to do it. And if you can be successful enough to do it, anybody can be successful enough to do it.
Right.
Bam. Hero. Yes. Get wealthy, make money,
because
give to charity, and you can also have fun. You know what I mean? And nobody got a problem with that.
Because to hear, when I saw that clip of Gayle and she looked right, and she was like, and secondly, have you been to space? Like, girl, what? What are you, why would you say, oh my gosh? I don't know.
Let's talk about Katy Perry killing this nun. Let's add that. Let's just add that. Tack that on here. The fact, listen.
Just for her to not even buy
that's the crazy part. First off, it's all like, dude, what the heck? You go through all this and then you're like, oh, never mind. Then it's like, for what? So just tell them story.
It's very, let me play a little bit of the clip. It's really long. I'll just play some of it.
Recording.
Katy Perry being out of touch is honestly not surprising when you remember that she's a god-awful human being and literally bullied a nun to death. If you've been following me for a minute, you might remember almost 2 years ago, I talked about this long legal battle Katy Perry was involved in with a group of nuns, and it was so much pressure and so much stress on these nuns that one of them literally died in court. So let's do a little recap for those who might not have any idea what I'm talking about. Katy Perry is a terrible person. This is Sister Rita Callanan, and this is Sister Catherine Holzman. Them, alongside 50 other nuns, pulled all of their money together in 1972, and they bought this property for $600,000. The home is beautiful. It's located in the Los Feliz neighborhood of LA, and eventually they would go on to turn this into a convent. Now, despite 52 nuns originally moving in, numbers started to dwindle, and by 2011, there were only 5 nuns left. In 2011, the Archdiocese of LA gets in touch with the nuns, and he's like, hey, y'all gotta get the fuck out. Because the church plans to sell the home for $7.5 million.
I think it's messed up that the church can override these sweet little nuns who have devoted their lives to Christ and to the whole nunnery of it all, pulled their money together to buy this home, to make it, a convent. And I hate the fact that the church can be like, actually, our decision can override yours and we want to sell it for $7.5 million.
Yeah, that is super crazy.
I think that's insane.
That is super crazy. I'm like, what they got to do? It's their house and they bought it.
Right.
But it's all like, no, you dedicate your life to God. This is what God wants. And this is a problem with like corruption. It's all like, what does got to do with God?
Right.
To sell it to anybody individually and it now not be used for God's purpose doesn't seem like that's what God would want. Like to take it from these nuns and sell it to anybody, and then you can say, what? Or we can use the money for A, B, and C. What? You have this big space that you could use for anything for God's purpose, if that's what you're really about. Mm-hmm. But you want to sell it like to anybody.
Right.
I don't like what?
Right.
What?
Right. And then the story goes on to say, and also these sweet little nuns are older. So it's like, how much time? Y'all could have just waited. Anyways.
Yeah,
so to go on, the sweet little nuns, and I don't know them personally. This is just how I feel. They might be sweet. They might not be, but they're nuns. So how bad can they be?
Yeah,
We've all seen Sister Act.
They could be Karens too.
Anyways, they didn't want to sell the home to Katy Perry because they were like, she does not align with what we believe. There's a clip of Katy Perry, I guess, saying she sold her soul to the, I don't even like to say those words, but
to the devil.
To this guy.
She said she sold her soul to the
devil. Went down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal. And apparently he got Katie's. That's what the clip said, okay? So they were like, she does not align. We don't want to sell it to her. But here's this sweet, wholesome little Dylan, I can't remember her last name. This lady who we do believe and align with. And she's offering $1 million more than Katy Perry. So let's just sell it to her because she has great plans for the home. The church was like, nah, but they did it anyway. And so the girl moves in. So then they did it anyway. The girl moves in. Katy Perry
was all like,
meets with the nuns. She has a meeting with the nuns and tries to have a conversation with them. And they're like, thank you so much for your meeting, but still no.
And she's saying, what was it? Joy? I think Joy to the World. Or something like that.
Yeah, she sang a song for them. Like, girl, first of all, please. Anyway.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Yeah, she sang a song for them. I forgot about that.
Just give me the house.
And they were still like, oh, thank you, but no. So then she goes and sues the woman who they sold the home to, saying that she messed up her legal sale that was going to happen, that she knew, blah, blah, whatever. They get in this long legal battle. The lady has to move out. She's going to court with these two nuns over it.
The lady has to move out and she ends up being ordered to have to pay. So that lady that moved into the house ended up going bankrupt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to court. And when they, in the middle of the court hearing, that's when one of the nuns dies, literally in court.
And before she went in, she said, Katy, please stop.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Katy, please stop. And then she goes in there and has a heart attack in court. And Katy Perry's like, I don't want the house no more.
And then doesn't even buy the freaking house.
After she wins, she has to get all this money.
But they lyrics off her phone and then showed the nurses her wrist tattoo that said Jesus. One of the nuns later telling Billboard she was nice, she told us why she wanted the property, sang a song, and then left. Immediately after, Katy Perry sues Dana Hollister, stating in court documents, and I quote, Hollister took advantage of vulnerable elderly nuns who she malevolently convinced to oppose the Roman Catholic Church. The judge would go on to invalidate Dana Hollister's sale, but because she had already moved in, the judge allowed her to stay in the home temporarily. Hollister would go on to make a statement about Katy Perry saying, it's interesting that she has all this girl power and she's running over a woman and 5 nuns. The nuns made a GoFundMe to help with legal fees and made about $50,000. And then in November of 2017, a jury did find that Hollister intentionally interfered with Katy Perry's legal purchase of the home, claiming that Dana Hollister must have known that the nuns did not have a right to sell the home. Dana was ordered to pay the Archdiocese $6.6 million, and she was ordered to pay Katy Perry $3.3 million. Dana was also found guilty of malice and fraud, and after everything, she owed both parties $15 million. She would go on to file bankruptcy just a couple months later. And at that point, the judge would rule that Katy Perry could, of course, move forward with purchasing the home. In March 2018, Dana Hollister has another court hearing. In support, both of the nuns went with her. Outside of the courtroom, Sister Catherine Holzman told Fox 11, Katy Perry, please stop. It's not doing anyone any good except hurting a lot of people. They would then go back into the courtroom, and mid-proceeding, Catherine Holzman would go on to collapse and die. Sister Callanan would then go on to tell the New York Post, Katy Perry has blood on her hands. And after everything, Katy Perry ended up not even buying the house, and it went back on the market shortly after. And that, my friends, is how
trash.
Crazy.
Do you ever feel like a trash bag? Yes, that's what you are. She's trash.
My thing is just be, and you know what? She probably believes that, she is on these journeys and she is doing the spiritual stuff or whatever. And this is what happens when the Bible says men will become lovers of men or become lovers of themselves. That's what it is. This is like you are so high up your own butt that you don't see that. She's like, hey, you're only damaging stuff. You already have a house. You already have a house. You don't even need this house.
And you can get any house.
But it's like, no, I want it. I want it. Forget that. Forget whatever you want, whatever you're going through. I want it. And then you're like, you know what? Never mind. Forget it. But if I wanted it, I could have moved in if I wanted to. See? And she still got 15 million.
Right.
She ordered to get paid 15 million and then doesn't even move into the house. That's not like there's not no legal action for that. Like, hey. Now we did this.
Right.
So for you to get the money to get the house, which I don't even know why she have to pay Katy Perry, and then she doesn't even get the house. Like, I just feel like, and this is alleged, by the way. I ain't looking it up, but there's, if you go to the video, I think she's got the places you can like find it. But it's like, yeah, this is what happens. This is why people say, these people have their feelings about rich people or wealthy people, because it's like your humanism is like gone. It's like you're not even a human being because you just look at people as pawns because you got money to do whatever you want. And that goes back to the whole problem and the optics behind them flying into space. And again, I don't even know the other two. They probably got valid reasons and might have been doing it for purposes, but when is it going to be a trip that they're sponsoring kids who want to be actual astronauts to go into space, or like Make-A-Wish? Hey, we can fly you into space. They're probably, it might be super dangerous. So they're probably going to have to do some finagling for that, but something like that. Put that in the news.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That would have been more.
Katy Perry, Gayle, and these other women sponsored 5 little girls.
Yes,
to
that's
go
what I was about to say.
To space.
That's what I was just about to say.
Then that would be, or they could have went with them. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Cool. Boom. There you go. Now that is something. Because then it's like a little girl to go to space. And I don't know I don't know the training and the requirements and the weight and stuff like that. But I imagine that you can go up there because they didn't have no helmets on or nothing like that. They were just,
it was a ride.
They were just in those jumpers. So it's like, okay. And that probably has to do with where you're going at in space, but it still might.
Because it was a ride.
In case of emergency, put the helmet on, I would hope.
Hair was still intact. Makeup was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a ride. Capsule wasn't even burnt when they came back down, like the people who were stuck in space. Because it was a ride.
Well.
Anyway, I agree that it's tone deaf, not the action in itself, but how they're going about it. I mean, the action in itself is also tone deaf, but rich people going rich people. So,
I don't think it's tone deaf. I'm saving up for my rides.
Just the shenanigans of it all. And Lauren Sanchez made a joke. I told Jack if he didn't want to marry me, he didn't have to send me into space. Shut up.
I mean, it's funny.
Shut up.
That's funny though.
Anyways, that's all I have on that topic today. I hope I never see Katy Perry in person.
I'm gonna get her autograph and sell it on eBay. But I'm gonna use that to fund my space trip.
You're stupid.
What's the song? What's the alien? The song we heard Kanye. You're my alien.
I don't know. I didn't know her and Kanye had a song together.
Yeah,
I know Dark Horse.
It's a song about because the video is space.
What? That's Dark Horse. That's Dark Horse. Is that music video in space?
No, it's not Dark Horse. Featuring Kanye?
Magic. Like a dark horse.
No.
Okay.
I said, ding, da 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 ding.
Oh, kiss me. Kiss me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
I think that's what he says.
I didn't know Kanye was on that.
Yeah, it's on the. It's like something like that.
It's called E.T.
E.T. Yes, extraterrestrial, space. Hey, you ain't gotta play it. We're not supporting that. But That's what I was thinking about. That's probably what she should have talked about. If she has a song called E.T. and went into space, like she should have been bumping that. And that whole video was in space. That's what I've been thinking about.
Well, she was showing her set list for her tour that nobody's going to be on. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on all the socials: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn.
And we're gonna be starting a GoFundMe to send us into space, so we can record an episode up there.
Because that would be even cooler.
Yep. Go up there in space and just have the world as the backdrop.
Be the first siblings in space.
Talk about breaking records.
Setting milestones. I wouldn't even do that because I won't even drive an electric vehicle because I don't trust. And Blue Origin by Bezos, please. Now, if NASA, I might be more willing.
Or the guy that did Virgin Mobile, that guy. He also has a space shuttle.
Nah, it's got to be NASA. They've been around the longest.
I'm down. Whoever's the cheapest.
And that's the problem. You gonna be like them.
Let go.
You gonna be like them dudes on a submarine and gonna come back.
Put some tin foil together.
We want the cheapest route.
And I'll be all like, yeah. This the first one? Yeah, let's try it out.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, and on that note, should we say
deuces?
Because